And welcome back, everyone, here to Game 3 of this very exciting series here between Rawr, Yordlez, and Glacial Omen. It's week 2, and this is the first time the teams are meeting each other, but it's been an explosive game thus far. One win apiece, and we are on the tiebreak game here for the week. I'm Random Minion Caster, and on the blue side, we have Rawr, Yordlez once again. And their bans are going with the Vladimir, Alawi, Syndra, Leona, and Jarvan. On the red side, Glacial Omen going with Caitlyn, Oriana, Dr. Mundo, and Zach. It looks like there was a lost ban there at the end of it. Now, in terms of picks, Rawr Yordlez opting once more for the Ezreal and Morgana bot lane that worked so well for them in the last game. Oddlander going deathless in game 2. Absolutely massive for his team, finishing legendary that game. They're going to be the ones picking up the set this time for Mr. Sarux in that top lane. Don't want to hand it over to Naga again. In fact, wants to show Naga how it's done. And they're going to go with an Echo Trundle there for the side, for their mid lane and jungle, most likely. On the side of Glacial Omen here, it's going to be Misfortune, Galio, Scion, and that's not a Nautilus. I've just been informed it is a Thresh, actually. So it's a Thresh Misfortune bot lane. Galio, Scion, and Elise picks here for the side of Glacial Omen. Ishan going to get his hands on that Galio once again. Interesting that Chaotic Obsidian, so they banned out his J4 and he's going with the Elise instead this game, and I'm honestly not sure how I'm liking that. I thought Glacial Omen's compositions have been really solid up to this point, but the Elise kind of stands out of that composition a little bit here. The rest of the team wants to get in there and team fight. Elise usually wants to get catches here and takes takedowns outside of fights in small skirmishes, 1v1s, 2v2s. 5v5 is not where Elise excels, but that's what they're going with. So most likely looking to sort of have a very early game focus here, get his lanes ahead, and they don't have that reliable CC this time because, again, that's not a Nautilus, that's a Thresh. If they had the depth charge, would allow King Tyrus on the Misfortune to get the bullet time off a lot easier, but unfortunately it doesn't have that. And Yordlez, once again, a bit of a mishmash of comps here. Not the Nunu this time, the Trundle, really good still at taking out objectives, at taking turrets. So that suggests to me that Nowitzki might be looking for a sort of a PvE approach potentially on this team. Either that or he's looking to find a way to melt through that Scion, but I don't think he really needs it with the set there on for Mr. Sarux, as set known to be a bit of a tank buster as well, building the blade of the Ruined King. So Rawr Yordlez once again gonna have to look to find picks, gonna look to just mechanically outplay their opponent. Very, very similar to their sister team last split, the Rawr Rampage team as well. And with that, we are headed onto the Rift here. Both teams loading up again, and I hope to see a level 1 invade, but honestly I don't really expect it at this point in time. Teams here in the Coalition League have shown an aversion towards engaging overly much in level 1s. That being said, it looks like we are going to get something here out the side of Glacial Omen. They are pinging the top side. They are grouping together. Is this going to be an invade or just a counter invade? And are they going to get spotted? They stepped out of the bush. Mr. Sarux is just round the corner. And so Mr. Sarux will spot them out here. The death sentence comes out and just barely misses by about half a Teemo off of Mr. Sarux there. And so unfortunately, we won't get to see that level 1 action, but that has allowed Rawr Yordlez the time to sort of react here, head up towards the top side, stop the invade, and with that, we have a very short tour of the river here for Glacial Omen. Very, very unfortunate, and I'm curious also to see where the junglers opt to start. They're going to just start on the bot side once again here. It does look that way right now, and yeah, indeed, both Elise and Trundle, Nowitzki and Obsidian headed towards their bot side jungle here with their bot lanes to leash. Sure, they get a better leash, as well as looking to potentially gank that top lane or mid lane, the two solo lanes, which can get influenced a bit harder here. But it's getting a little predictable, and so teams can take note of this, perhaps might find some way to take advantage of the standard starts of both junglers here. Both top laners opting to just start right away in lane. Neither of them going to fake a leash here to try and throw everything off. Really, there was no point because there was a ward here on the side of Rawr Yordlez from Glacial Omen, showing that Nowitzki was definitely not starting top side. And likewise, I think they tracked Elise enough to know that Elise was going to start the bot side there. Both top laners already quite low here from the trade. Mid laners also trading rather hard for level 1, level 2, and we did see Mr. Sarux go down game 1 against Naga from over trading level 1. And just action breaking out across the map. Bot lane as well. Willowhaven and King Tyru is going to hit the level 2 spike a little earlier, but a good dark binding from Winter to disengage there, make themselves safe so that they don't face the level 2s when they're level 1. It looks like something happened to Chaotic Obsidian here. It's showing 0 CS, so it doesn't look like Chaotic Obsidian managed to finish the first buff. Not sure if he disconnected, but that's really going to set Glacial Omen really far behind right now. Chaotic Obsidian desperately crawling towards the red buff, but Nowitzki might be looking for an invade. No, he's looking for a gank in the mid lane here. He's running in, but Duero might go down first. Does get the shield, the taunt comes down, and it will be first blood for Ishan on Duero, managing to turn the gank around, killing his opponent before Nowitzki even gets there, but now Nowitzki getting the return kill. So it's going to be a 1-for-1 trade, but first blood with Ishan. That's really, really bad news here from Chaotic Obsidian. He couldn't get his mid laner to try and help him leash a little bit more, try and get himself back into the game. He's level 2 to Nowitzki's level 3, and both mid laners here opting to use their teleports right away to get back into lane. And that's something, you know, we kind of want to point out too with the mid laners here. Both of them opting to take the teleport. That's pretty common here on the Galio, but usually on the Echo, we're used to seeing Ignites coming out for more kill potential. Beautiful wait and gank here from Nowitzki. He gets the pillar down in an ideal position, but a solid taunt there from Ishan will get him to safety. Does take a lot of damage and will not have the teleport available, so if he opts the base to get a bit healthier, he will end up losing quite a bit of CS here. And now Chaotic has to be careful because Mr. Sarux is 2 levels up and wants a piece of that red buff. Chaotic desperately trying to pick up the scuttle. Can he do it? Yes, he can, just barely, but that means that he walks into the stun from Duero. Duero going to turn around, pick up a double kill on Ishan and Chaotic, and now it's Naga who has to be careful here on the side. A flash to get him out, and there's no flashes left for Mr. Sarux or Duero. Both of them expended earlier. And Naga going to be able to get himself out alive out of a very, very sketchy situation there. And that's going to set Chaotic Obsidian even further behind, already with a really rough start. And at least a very strong early game jungler does tend to fall off later in the game here. So that's not how he wanted to start his game. And all of Glacial Omen are going to have to pay the price for that as well. They have to play a bit more passively. We've already seen Nowitzki throwing a lot of attention to the mid lane, to Duero there. So that sets Ishan further behind. Naga also now struggling in the 1v1 against Mr. Sarux. The set, a very favorable matchup into the Scion there. He's already got himself a 15 CS lead. That's about 2.5 waves, not to mention the experience advantage. And with that, there's a 1.6, 1.7 gold lead here right now for the side of Rawr Yordlez at 5 minutes. This is absolutely massive gold lead, and it has translated into items here. We see the Hextech Revolver on Duero in the mid lane, increasing his burst that much more against Ishan. What could have been a much rougher laning phase, somewhat mitigated for himself here. Mr. Starks hasn't had a chance to go back and buy yet, but he has quite a bit of gold for himself here. And Nowitzki already completed the Skirmisher's Saber. They're looking for Chaotic Obsidian. He has to flash himself to safety, but will it be enough? The Showstopper up top from Mr. Starks as he hits level 6 will pick up Naga, but he now has to run away from the ghosts of Scion's past. And in the mid lane, Chaotic Obsidian, the flash was enough to get him to safety. Ishan also surviving in the mid lane, and we did see Winter, King Tyru's Willowhaven, everybody roaming upwards towards the mid lane. There are lots of attention being paid to the mid lane. Now Nowitzki clearing out the pink ward there means he will be able to start up that Drake, and Trundle, really strong early jungler, can actually solo that Drake. He will have Winter to help him out there though, so will not have to tank, will not have to take too much damage on his own. And that's going to be an Inferno Drake, which everybody on his team is going to be thankful for. More poke from Ezreal, more damage from Set. Duero going to get the edge in these trades that he's been struggling a little bit in the mid lane with here. And Chaotic Obsidian absolutely cannot contest that. He's behind in levels as well. Elise does have an execute, which kind of makes objective taking a little dicey sometimes against an Elise. But she was already low on health, could not even bother, could not even show up. So Chaotic Obsidian just going to go back to his jungle and farm. And now Mr. Saruk's going to continue the fight here against Naga. Naga picking up double cloth armor as well as boots. But Mr. Saruk's getting himself an early cutlass with boots as well. We'll be able to chase him down. We'll get a bit more damage. And we'll be able to shove Naga back under his turret. Having a 2-level lead now in that top lane. Everything going Rawr Yordle's way right now. See Chaotic looking for yet another gank in the mid lane. Duero not aware of just dropped the ward right on top of Chaotic, was not aware of it, and I think Chaotic might have waited a little too long there, watching Duero run past in front of him back, and Death Sentence does manage to connect onto Winter here, make it rain, following up along with a double up, but will not be able to take him down, just getting some poke damage onto Winter. And normally you don't see bot lanes recall at separate timings because it leaves them vulnerable to dives, to ganks, and it extends the vulnerable phase. But with the Morgana, with the Black Shield and the Tormented Soil, with the extremely safe Ezreal here, they can afford to do that, and that means that they'll be able to soak up a bit more solo experience for themselves as well. And we see All-Lander already 6 matching King Tyrus as well. That's the ultimates available now, getting unlocked for the bot laners here. Mr. Saruk starting to take over the game a little bit in the top lane here. That Set becoming an absolute monster for himself. Looking for a 30 CS lead right now. That's 5 waves at 8 minutes. Absolutely massive. Just across the map, Glacial Omen struggling, losing every single lane. And you can't put that all just on the jungler either. Now Mr. Saruk's trying to land, gets the shield but not the true damage, gets knocked up under the turret. Good play from Naga, making use of that turret to do the bulk of the damage, and Mr. Saruk's will fall here, and that will give much needed gold to Naga in the top lane. Closes the gap to just 800 gold there in the top lane, which very, very, very big for them. Bot lane, All-Lander doing an amazing job. 1v2ing right now against Willowhaven. And King Tyrus the one to run. He suspected he might be getting ganked. The True Shot Barrage coming across. Nowitzki diving in, but the heal will be enough to keep Willowhaven alive for now. And a beautiful bullet time from King Tyrus there to keep to basically turn it around. They're going to pick up a double kill here as All-Lander ends up dying for his over-aggression. He does pick Willowhaven up, but an ADC for support is a good trade any day. And that's a 2-for-1 in favor of Glacial Omen on a gank initiated by Rawr Yordle. Chaotic Obsidian going for the Herald there. We'll be able to pick it up with the Smite. Very, very important. And now we see the heroic entrance from Ishan coming down, trying to turn this 2v2 into a 3v2, but Mr. Saruk still is going to get his pound of flesh. Or not. Well, he does get it on Naga. Naga, sorry, was in his ghost form, pardon me. Couldn't quite see that, but he will pay for it with his life, and that's going to be a 1-for-1 trade. Now, Duero looking to try and pick something up as well, but the execute from Obsidian will pick that up. Nowitzki and Winter showing up out from nowhere. The fight ran that long. It's going to be a 2-for-2 trade at the end of the day. They're so close from Duero, but that repel saving Chaotic Obsidian there couldn't quite get the last auto off. And with that, both teams are starting to get much more even. Chaotic Obsidian now 6th. And one of the good things about Elise is even if she takes a while to get to 6, it doesn't affect her that much. Elise ultimate, not the biggest thing for her. Is useful, but it's more just stat bonuses. So will be fine. And is starting to make himself relevant into the game. 1-2-1. Has caught Winter out now. Will trade back the binding for a Cocoon. The Soul Shackles is still applied. The stopwatch being used, but didn't quite get the stun. It looks like onto Obsidian, so he will get out. and it's going to be Winter instead going down. Duero finally managing to get Chaotic Obsidian. Has to be careful though, because Ishan can burst him down, but the Q, the return track of the Q is going to be able to pick Ishan up instead. The Sidewinder there, I think it's called. So yeah, it's going to be a 2-for-2 trade right now, with everybody now clustered around the dragon, the mountain drake, but Mr. Saruk's just walking into such an unfortunate position. The bullet time will melt him down eventually. It took a bit of time there. He was kind of tanky, but they do find Mr. Saruk's in the midst of that, and now it's a 3-for-2 and a 3v2 around the Baron, now being a 4-5 as teleport comes out from Ishan to join the rest of his team. Chaotic has arrived, and it looks like this Drake is going to go the way of Glacial Omen here. Nowitzki just getting hunted down by Naga. Can he get it? Nope, the tip misses, and Naga going to try and flash himself to safety. Ishan there to back him up, and what is Naga doing? He was walking towards the lantern, extremely risky. Duero taking the blast cone. I'm not sure that was what he wanted to do. Had to chrono shift himself back to safety there, and that's going to be the chrono shift down from Duero for the next little while there, and things coming up roses here for Glacial Omen. They get themselves the dragon, they get themselves the kills, and they are looking to close that gold gap down to just 1,000 right now. Kills dead even, dragons dead even, towers dead even. So all the gold discrepancy right now just off of laning here, and it's only a small 1,000 gold discrepancy. Top lane, Mr. Saruk's, it's pretty much just sitting on Mr. Saruk's in that top lane, pardon me, and he is going to try and get some plates off the turret there in the mid lane. Duero up a little bit, but it's cancelled out by the bot lane where King Tyrus has been doing work. 3-0-1. Outlander was deathless last game, but this game is looking extremely different. Winter trying to sacrifice his life will get absolutely obliterated, and unfortunately Outlander not much long for the world. He goes down as well, and they get a win on the top side as Ishan just walking it up there manages to find Mr. Saruk's. That's 3 kills in rapid succession for Glacial Omen, and they drop shell in the bot lane for a ton of plates as well. They're looking, potentially trying to get themselves the first turret of the game, and it is going to be good. And for the first time this game, Glacial Omen finds himself in the lead, 400 gold gap. Extremely massive for them, and a lot of that gold going the way of King Tyrus as well. He's now 3-0-3. They're looking for Nowitzki. A pillar will slow them down, but he walks right into Ishan. The taunt is good, and the bullet time will see him go down. Ishan going to be the one to pick up the kill there, and that will allow them to continue the siege onto the mid lane turret. They don't have Shelly this time, but they do have a lot of damage. True shot barrage coming out, but among that many people, it doesn't have enough damage. They can't quite clear the minions. Duero looking, can he get it? He gets a 2-man stun onto Chaotic Obsidian and King Tyrus, but he might go down. The chrono shift, the chrono break will get him out alive. A beautiful stopwatch from Willowhaven as well. They do find Chaotic Obsidian. They get the shutdown on him. They get the kill onto Ishan as well. Yet another shutdown, and that's 2 bounties. One going to Ezreal, one going to Echo. And Rawr Yordlez fire back, evening the gold to dead even right now. Now Tyrus has to be careful. He's been caught into the turret. There's going to be another shutdown for Outlander. This one a bigger bounty, 300 gold. And suddenly, Rawr Yordlez are back in the game. What a back and forth swinging game. And this is what we expected after the first 2 games here. Duero continuing to go in. Will find Willowhaven, but taking that last turret shot there. Did not have the chrono break, the chrono shift available. This time will go down. Outlander going to be able to get the first turret for his team here. The mid lane. Good turret. And it's going to be Winter going down. He black shielded Outlander and will pay for it with his life. But now Chaotic Obsidian has to be careful. Does not have the repel available. Will eat the true shot barrage to the face. And Nowitzki desperately looking to try and find him. But the minions are in his way right now. He can't quite kite around them. And Obsidian going to be saved by the minions there. And this is the bloodbath games we've come to love and expect from Coalition League. 13 to 15 in 16 minutes there. Just under a kill a minute for both teams. Mr. Saruk's desperately looking to try and change that as he might get caught out here. He does get knocked out by the heroic entrance, and the CC just keeps coming on down. They've made it. Glacial Omen a kill a minute. They've made the mark here. Chaotic Obsidian unfortunately had a lot of his skill shots blocked by the red buff there, but did not matter. They still managed to pick and find Mr. Sarks, and that will give them priority on the Herald here as Glacial Omen looking to pick up Shelly yet again. Duero on the bot side does have the teleport available, can join his team if he so wishes. Naga does not have his teleport, so will be unable to join. They could make this an even numbers fight, and we see the teleport from Mr. Sarks coming in from behind, from Duero, pardon me, behind. He is running in, but it's too late. Shelly has already gone down. Bullet time raking across. Just Nowitzki here. Everybody else disengaging, but Duero, great flank, will be able to find the backline, but he's having problems getting kills. Will finally get King Tyrus, and will be able to pick up Chaotic Obsidian and Willowhaven as well. The kills are being spread across. Winter finding one of them, on Lantern the other, and now Naga late to the party showing up now. Will go down. Goes and goes from trying to pick up Duero, but Mr. Sark's just going to use the showstopper to ensure that Naga gets nothing out of that fight, and it's a 4-0. The Eye of the Herald did get picked up, so Chaotic Obsidian at least will have that. Both teams now making the kill a minute mark, 17-17 at 17:46. Lots of action here in Game 3. Going to pick up that top turret for their pains as well. Rawr Yordlez wanting to get at least some sort of prize out of that fight. They did not manage to secure the Herald, but they will secure themselves up the turret. And now we suddenly see all of Glacial Omen there training towards that Ocean Drake. We have Ocean map once again this series. They will get spotted out by Nowitzki, and it's a question if Nowitzki decides to go in for the suicide mission, try and pick up the Ocean Drake. Looks like he's not going to. He's just going to go and pick himself up the red buff instead. Just going to seed the Ocean Drake. No reason to risk it this early. So far, we've not been seeing protracted sieges. Instead, it's short bursts of extreme violence between the two teams here. And an Ocean Drake will not help with that, so they can afford to let it go over. Laning phase mostly over for both teams as well. Now, Mr. Sarks has the Blade of the Wrinkling complete. Double longswords as well. Gonna go head-to-head against Naga here. And in the extended fight, it looks like Naga starting to lose this a little bit. Mr. Sarks able to sidestep the knock-up here. And the Blade of the Wrinkling being applied once more. The Conqueror stack starting to stack up. There's a Sunfire Cape which has good armor, as well as the Bramble Vest to cut healing, but will be enough? Yes, it will be! The Sunfire pop going to be the one taking it down, and we also see King Tyrus getting absolutely destroyed there by Duero. The Assassins online. Chaotic Obsidian looking to find some way to take the Blast Cone, but everybody's just sitting on it. He had problems finding it. Will eventually be able to hop the Blast Cone, but it'll be too little too late. He's going to go down. Nowitzki showing up in the top lane, going to be able to melt Naga down real quick here. Naga showing up in Ghost form is going to continue pounding away on the top lane turret, but that's not an AD Scion, that's a tank Scion, so you won't get much damage at all in Ghost form onto that turret there. Just lots of action here. It's like they're on schedule. They want to keep up the 1 kill a minute mark for both teams. They're just running at each other non-stop. Objectives seem to have sort of fallen by the wayside here. And as I say that, of course, Rawr Yordlez proving me wrong. They managed to pick up the last outer turret for themselves. And as I've said so many times, it helps to deny vision as well for the team. If they can break all the outer turrets, they have to use wards. Ishan looking to see if he can find anybody there, but nope, everybody has managed to recall safely. So Ishan gonna come up empty-handed after his long walk along the river there. Both teams taking a bit of a break right now. Had to go back, had to go buy their items, and we can take a quick look at the items here. Mr. Sark's picking himself up a Vamp Scepter as well, so even more sustain. But the Naga has the Warden's Mail as well as the Bramble Vest there, and the Bramble Vest is going to cut a lot of the healing as well from that Vamp Scepter and Blade of the Ruined King. He's back again, 1v1 against Naga. Naga actually has a level advantage here. I'm not sure if Mr. Sark wants to keep fighting this, but his whole team is showing up. The Lantern coming out from Willowhaven will drag them to safety. And now mid lane, we've got Chaotic Obsidian going head-to-head against Nowitzki there. Ishan waiting in the wings. Obsidian still a level under, has been struggling all game since that initial I suspect it was disconnect in the beginning of the game. Has still had a great impact. 5, 6, and 5 though. Part of a lot of these team fights here. One of the highest kill participations on the team. But Mr. Sark's able to find that top lane inner turret. The showstopper coming out onto Naga. It's good damage. And now a Dark Binding connects onto Obsidian. He goes down there. Mr. Surix going down to 1v1. I think Mr. Surix has to start acknowledging at this point he is not going to win the 1v1s against Naga at this point. His lead is mostly gone. 600 gold not meaning much. True Shot Barrage comes across, and Duero able to find King Tyrus under the turret. Willowhaven soon to follow, and Ishan, the last one going down in that mid lane. That was a 4-man dive. Extremely well coordinated. They jelloed the aggro beautifully there and managed to pick up 3 under the turret. Chaotic Obsidian still down from that previous pick. They get the inner mid lane turret, and suddenly they're going on the inhibitor turret now. They're now looking to dive. Naga successfully done. Duero is a beast right now on Echo, able to just go weave in and out of the turret. They get Naga, they get the turret, and now Chaotic has to be careful. He might be the next one here. Will have to flash to safety. He's too squishy to try and fight this alone. But thankfully for him, King Tyrus and Willowhaven have respawned, and they will be able to stop this push for now. But that was a huge push from the side of Rawr Yordlez. They get 2 turrets on that push in the mid lane, 1 in the top lane as well. And now Chaotic will get the cocoon point blank onto Winter. Winter might go down. He gets the Zhonya's Hourglass. Will keep him alive for now, and Chaotic taking the Lantern to safety. So that's Hourglasses blown on both Chaotic Obsidian and Winter 07, not available for that next fight. Whew, need to catch my breath a little bit here. Non-stop action, 25 to 19, and it's been all Rawr Yordlez finding picks for the last little while here. The dragon is going to be spawning. It's 5 seconds till the next ocean comes up. Mr. Sarux, a little overextended here, might go down. The shield is massive, the true damage as well. The showstopper actually going to get him to safety, and Willowhaven going to go down here. But no, it's Mr. Sarux going down first. They can't quite find Willowhaven. He's in the back, Naga in the midst of it, and Duero going to find Chaotic Obsidian. The repel will not save him, does not have the Hourglass this time, and Naga just running away, cannot quite find it. He's built almost strictly armor at this point, so Duero doing a lot of damage, but Duero has to be careful. That zombie Scion can still kill him there. He's taken extremely low. Will pick up the shield, will pick up the blue buff, and will rotate towards the Ocean Drake there. That was an ace as well for the side of Rawr Yordlez. They're playing extremely well. They finally opened up the gap in kills. That's 10 kills a hit, 30 to 20 right now. And they're looking to pick up the Baron here. They're just going straight for it. Whereas in there alone, he's going to take additional damage when he's alone in the pit. Where are the tanks? Nowitzki's running in after he takes the Scuttle there. Outlander with him as well. They're putting down damages, but it's taking a bit longer to shred than it otherwise might. Mr. Sarux is the one who has the Blade of the Ruined King, but he's the last to the party here. And the death sentence comes out. They get Mr. Sarux, but Willowhaven not going to run in there because Winter running interference. Beautiful 2-man stun. We'll see Chaotic Obsidian completely melted. He's too squishy against Duero. Duero's got the Lichbane, got the Protobelt, got the Banshees, and that's Baron on all 5 members of Rawr Yordlez. They've got the jungler and support down for Glacial Omen, and they're just going to go back, shop up, and get ready for this one final push here. As if Duero wasn't slippery enough. He's completed his Zhonya's as well now. Zhonya's, Banshees, Proto. He's got a ton of active items here, and it's going to be anybody's guess how, which one he's going to activate and escape here with in these fights. Outlander as well has the completed Manamune, has the Iceborne Gauntlet. This is the blue build as well. He's going to be slippery. He's already died twice this game. Not happy about it. Doesn't want to go down again. Black Shield onto Mr. Sarux. It's a little bit too late here as he already got cocooned up. And it looks like they're going to start the fight up here. 3v5, but Duero just running amok in the background. He gets King Tyrus and he's still going in. But he's getting CC'd up, has to be careful. Will use the Chrono Shift now. He's gotten himself out. The Zhonya's the next one to go here. And now he's out of items. Outlander doing damage though. And this is a 3v5. Remember, they found 2. Duero finally going down. But it's a 2-for-2 trade. Now Outlander trying to get out the best he can. A beautiful Dark Binding will buy time. And Ishan gonna go down. Outlander finding his godlike status once again. 3v5, and they win that fight, trading 2 for 3 here. That's absolutely massive, and we see Nowitzki just in the bot lane, bringing the minions in with him. They are burned up, and he's gonna go try and take the inner turret there in the bot lane. So there's no inner turrets gonna be left for the side of Glacial Omen. King Tyrus making it rain right in front of Nowitzki. But no damage, no harm, no foul. Nowitzki gonna just take that turret down easy here. We look across the scoreboard right now. More than half the kills for the side of Rawr Yordlez is on Duero. He's 18, 5, and 14 here. And more than about half the death's gonna come out of Mr. Saruk shortly as he gets caught in the top lane, but he's gonna be able to pick Chaotic Obsidian up. Chaotic is having a really rough time. The True Shot Barrage comes over and they pick him up. The repel, he came down a little too quickly there and will go down. And there is still a bit of Baron buff left on the side of Rawr Yordlez. They can look to take this exposed inhibitor in the mid lane. They have the numbers advantage. It's a 5v4 for the next 20 seconds here. And they're on the inhibitor as we called earlier. Bansheesville going to get popped out from Duero by the Winds of War. And they're going to rotate themselves to that bot lane. Sarux and Winter in the top side, looking to get those minions in, take down that turret. Duero and Nowitzki on the bot side and the mid lane. And in the mid lane, you've got Oddlander just being a pest, trying to distract the entirety of Glacial Omens here. Bullet time coming across, but on Nowitzki, it does absolutely nothing at all. IE and Essence Reaver completed, but it's not enough here. Nowitzki just so tanky when he uses that ultimate. Duero diving the backline, hunting for King Tyrus. Will use the Chrono Shift to get himself back out to safety. And Chaotic Obsidian is dying on cooldown. He just respawned and he's dead again. 7 and 11 his kills and deaths right now. Ishan has to be careful, extremely low. Can they get him? Yes, they can. The Showstopper slams down and Shockwave will pick them up. And they're split now between the Nexus and kills. They find Naga. Naga gonna go down, and yet another kill here for Duero. Trying to make sure he remains above 50% of his team's kills. King Tyruso pumping out a crap ton of damage. Does find Winter, does find Nowitzki, does find Oddlander. It's a triple kill. Can he get more? No, he can't. Duero deciding he's had enough of this. Just gonna do the last hit there with the Lichbane on to the Nexus. 39 to 25. Absolute blood buff. Blood bath. Massacre, carnage, whatever you want to call it here. And Rawr Yordlez manages to win this series here in a very close best of 3. It's absolutely amazing game. Duero putting this team on his back and just hard carrying them, especially Mr. Sarux. They're going 3-9-9 after such a promising start. It's as if he didn't realize that he could not beat Naga in the mid game. Ended up continuously force feeding Naga there. And Chaotic Obsidian, on the other hand, had a really rough start to the game, but he was having a competition with Mr. Sarux, who could feed harder, it looked like, in the mid to late game there. Unfortunately for Glacial Omen, they did not have anybody to step up the way Duero did in that game. They were ending the game 25 and 14 for himself on that Echo. So take notes, Silver Division. Do not give Duero Echo. Not a good sign. I'm not sure if he played it last week. Can't quite recall, but the way he played it this week, though, absolute beast. Definitely a monster here. Oddlander, unfortunately, not going deathless this game, but 9, 3, and 12 still putting up an amazing KDA for himself, able to get a lot of damage down in these fights. And they did not focus as much on objectives in this game. You can see the Dragon split between the both teams fairly evenly here. So more of a focus on kills here between the two teams. And with that, that is the end of the series here between Rawr Yordlez and Glacial Omen. Congratulations to Rawr Yordlez for winning that one. And that's week 2 done and over with. All the teams here in Silver just have one last team left to play before they've tried their hand against every team. And so it will be very interesting to see on the second half of the split how these teams fare when they face up against the enemy teams once again. And with that, I want to thank all of you guys for tuning in. I'm Random Minion Caster, and it's been a blast casting for you guys. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you guys soon. Come join us on Monday and Tuesday for the gold streams, or on Friday for the live stream there.